Learn how to make your own dry shampoo at home in this tutorial. I'm also going to show you how to use it and answer some frequently asked questions about dry shampoo. If that sounds like something you want to learn more about, let's go ahead and make dry shampoo. So the cool thing about dry shampoo is it's actually made with only 2 ingredients, and they're both ingredients that you probably have in your pantry right now. So dry shampoo is put on our hair to go ahead and absorb some of the oil that's in there, give us a quick refresh without us having to wash our hair all the way. And it is super easy and super convenient. I like to make my own dry shampoo because I feel like it works a little bit better than the store-bought. I only wash my hair once a week and it can get pretty rough by day 7. So I feel like this is a little bit of a stronger dry shampoo than what you get at the drugstore. Without further ado, let's dive in and learn how to make it. So I'm going to show you how to make 3 different dry shampoos in this recipe. I'm going to show you how to make one for blonde hair, I'm going to show you how to make one for brunette hair, and I'm going to show you how to make one for black hair. So the one for blonde hair, what we're going to do is go ahead and take 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and we're going to pop that into a bowl. Now, don't worry about getting exact measurements. They don't have to be perfect. This is a kind of rough type of recipe. It doesn't require super measurements. To this, we are going to add nothing. So you can use this exactly how it is for blonde hair. However, if you want to add a little bit of color or if you have a little bit of darker roots, what I do is I take a teaspoon of cocoa powder, go ahead and add that to your cornstarch and give it a really good mix. So this is going to add a little bit of color, but not an overwhelming amount. Oh, and make sure that you're using unsweetened cocoa powder, not sweetened cocoa powder. Give it a really good mix, and then we're just going to pop this into our airtight container. So for the one for brunette hair, what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and take 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and pop it into a bowl. To that, we're going to go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa powder. And we're going to give that a really good mix. So oftentimes when you're mixing it, it can kind of poof all up on you and it can make a little bit of a mess. So just kind of be patient when you're stirring and stir kind of slow so you don't wind up with a big old mess in your kitchen. Once you have that all mixed up, you're going to go ahead and take your dry shampoo and just pop it into your sealed container. Now the third dry shampoo that we're going to make is going to be for black hair. So what we're going to do for this dry shampoo is we are going to put 2 tablespoons of cornstarch in there. Now this next ingredient you might not have in your kitchen. If you are into making your skincare, you probably have it in your skincare supplies, and that's going to be activated charcoal. We are going to put 1 teaspoon of activated charcoal in here, and we're going to give it a really good mix. So same thing, mix it up very well. Now, what I like to do is I like to take 1 teaspoon of the cocoa powder and go ahead and mix it in here. Now, you can use it with just the cornstarch and the activated charcoal, but I feel that adding a little bit of the cocoa powder really makes a big difference in the finished look of your product on your hair. So it just adds a little bit more depth and it makes it so you can't see it as well. I really think just adding the cocoa powder just does something to the dry shampoo, just makes it, I don't want to say invisible, but less likely to be seen in your hair. And same thing, go ahead and pop that into a airtight container. And it really is that easy to make your own dry shampoo. Now, a few tips when you're making dry shampoo is to make sure that you always use a mesh strainer before you measure out your ingredients. So putting them through the mesh strainer is going to go ahead and get rid of any lumps that might be in there, because those can make it very difficult to get everything to mix up. And as you can tell, it can be a little bit poofy and crazy anyways when you're trying to mix it. The second tip that I have for you is to make sure that you always store this in a sealed container. So if you're going to be putting this in your bathroom where there's humidity and things like that, the cornstarch is going to absorb that water and it's not going to be very good when you put it in your hair. So just make sure you store this in an airtight container to get the best results. The third piece of advice is if you are adding extra charcoal or extra cocoa powder, what you're going to do is add a little bit at a time. So you don't want to add a whole nother tablespoon, just add a small amount, give it a good mix and see if it's at the consistency or the color that you want and go from there. So I pretty much kind of eyeball it, but if I'm adding extra, I just do a little bit at a time. Otherwise, you're going to wind up putting too much cocoa powder, then you have to add more cornstarch, and it can just turn into a whole thing on you. Now, a few questions that I get about dry shampoo is how often can you use it? I would recommend if you're using it more than twice a week, just go ahead and wash your hair. Dry shampoo is a great refresher, but what you don't want to do is wind up with a bunch of buildup in your hair. Another question that you might have is how long is my do-it-yourself dry shampoo going to last? And it's going to last over 6 months as long as you have it in a sealed container. So this lasts a very long time. I don't think I've ever had it last, like not get used up within 6 months, but it'll definitely last 6 months in your bathroom. And another question I have is if I don't want to make it myself, what brand do I recommend? The other brand that I use is in an aerosol container, and I use Dove dry shampoo. I use that on my lighter days, and then I use the do-it-yourself one when my hair is really greasy because I feel like it just absorbs quite a bit more than the spray one will. They have the aerosol one in different colors also, so you get it in the blonde, brunette, black, whatever color your hair is. So here is my greasy hair. I only wash my hair once a week. I'm actually on day 8 on this hair because last weekend I dyed my hair, which got me off schedule, and then I had to get back on schedule. So my hair is very greasy. So normally on recording day is the day that I use my dry shampoo. This week I really needed it, so I figured it was actually a perfect time to go ahead and show you how to make and how to use the dry shampoo. So to use it, what you can do is take your kabuki brush, just dip it into the dry shampoo. See all of that? We're going to tap it off. Sorry, I can't do it with one hand. So I tapped it off so there's not a whole bunch on there, right? So just go ahead, get most of it off because you don't want to like clump this into your hair. You want a light amount. And what you're going to do is you're just going to take the dry shampoo and you're just going to brush it on your hair and then work it through with your fingers. And then you come in with another dip, lift your hair up, and you're going to do the same thing. So we're only doing small amounts at a time because we don't want a whole bunch of powder left over. So you do a little bit at a time, and then I like to come through and really work it in. So I'm kind of pressing it into my hair. I'm moving my fingers back and forth, really mixing everything in. Already feel the difference here. But I'm just going to keep going a little bit more. Some of my underneath hair. And you can see just how greasy my hair is. So go ahead. And then you're just going to keep rubbing it in. Make sure that you don't have any spots left over. And as you can see, it's a world of difference from where it was. And then you can go ahead and style your hair like normal. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy making and using your dry shampoo as much as I do. If you haven't done so already, be sure you hit that subscribe and like button.